Dude, spoilers. Captain Leonard Burns is one of the strongest characters in all of Fire Force. And while he is a good guy, there is an interesting mirror of his character on the opposition's team, Charon. These two enormous powerhouses stand in opposition to each other, and caught in the middle of all that pressure is Shinra. Captain Burns plays an interesting role in the story of Fire Force. He knows the truth of what happened the night Shinra's house burned to the ground, and yet he keeps that information to himself until Shinra can best him in combat. Unfortunately, we only have 2 instances where Burns engages in a fight, and they're both with Shinra. So what information does his character's sound design help convey? Let's take a look at the first fight. The amazing thing about this fight is that Burns doesn't even lift a finger. He lets Shinra attack him head-on with his strongest attack. After an enormous blow from Shinra, Burns takes a step and drops his own attack. While this scene is awesome, there is something very interesting that happens. The sound for Captain Burns, his choices, and his pyrokinetic ability all fall into alignment. This is a great example of how to define your character with every aspect of their design. Let me show you what I mean by taking a look at the second fight.
何が何でも教えてもらう。まるでろうそくの火だな。なめんなよ。俺はこんなものじゃねえ。
Both the sound and character design are meant to illustrate one simple idea. There is a wall that Shinra has to be able to get through before he can learn the truth. That wall is Captain Burns. His pyrokinetic ability and the overwhelming nature of the sound effects display this perfectly. If Captain Burns is a wall, then it makes perfect sense that Charon is a mirror. An absolute unit of strength that serves the evangelist, Charon is a very interesting character. Similar to Burns, Charon boasts incredible strength and a unique pyrokinetic ability that has granted him the title of the Reflector. He is able to absorb kinetic energy and transform it into thermal energy. That means that he is incredibly efficient at taking a beating and dishing it back out. Koyama does an interesting thing with the sound design for this character. Normally in the show, the level of bass frequencies denotes how much power an attack has. For Charon, however, the amount of bass used tells us how charged up he currently is. After he used up the last of his thermal energy, you can hear a significant difference in the sound. When he attacks Shinra with his bare fists, the punches sound shallow and weak, especially when compared to his earlier attacks. Shinra has figured out his ability and therefore stopped attacking Charon to deprive him of kinetic energy. Charon tries to provoke Shinra, but he doesn't take the bait. Therefore, Charon calls in the cavalry and has his henchmen ruthlessly gang up on him, punching and kicking him to give him a substantial energy boost. Now listen to what his attacks sound like.
Stop!
Full of energy, full of bass. Both Burns and Charon are interesting characters in their own right, but I think that they become more interesting because of the way their abilities and the sound design work together to paint a more complete picture in the story. Oh, and because they do amazing things like this. It's very exciting for me to say this because this video was made possible by a singular supporter on Patreon. Korn, you are a legend and recently became the first patron of the Malou channel. If you want to see behind the scenes content and get early access to videos for free, then please consider checking out my Patreon page. I appreciate the support. Thank you for watching, everyone. I'm Malou, and I will see you storytellers in the next video.